Well, the snowflakes are coming down. It's that time of year. 35 degrees. Little shock to the system. I was in shorts and tank top last week at this time. But headed up Game Creek. Gonna do some sprints and talk about why you as an endurance runner should do sprints. Oh, nice warm up. It's nice out here. 2 nights ago, we had a major snowstorm, kind of just above 7,000 feet. So we're gonna see a lot of snow once we get up a little bit higher. It's gonna be good to see, and it's gonna be beautiful against all the leaves that are still left for fall. But yesterday's video talked about the VJ Spark, and today's going to be a good test for it. Got the VJ Spark, and like I mentioned in the video, I'm really encouraged by one thing is that it's low profile, but it has really robust rock protection through the outsole, which doesn't require a rock plate, which therefore allows the shoe to be very flexible. A lot of times when you get a shoe that has good rock protection, either through a rock plate or a lot of midsole, the shoe is really stiff, and when you hit really technical terrain, you get tossed around because the shoe's not flexible enough to allow your foot to articulate through the technical terrain. And this shoe is what I'm finding right away is that the flexibility is allowing me to really engage with the ground through technical terrain and run really fast without getting tossed around. So we should hit a lot of mud, a lot of snow, and some technical terrain today, so it'll be a good test for it. Just gonna keep hitting more and more snow as we get higher and higher. This VJ Spark is just really perfect for a run like today. Got a little mud, showed you the rocks. We're gonna see some snow up here, so just seems like it's just tailor-made for a run like today. It is just amazing out here. Now we just need to see a moose sitting in there in the willows. All right, I'm looking for a place to do some sprints. More importantly, why should you be doing sprints even though you might be more of a distance endurance runner? That's what we're going to dive into. First reason is that when we do sprints, let's back up a minute, rewind. Let's first define what I mean by sprint in this scenario. We're talking any fast run that is flat, maybe sometimes even downhill, a slight downhill, but I would say for most of the time, work on a flat course where, again, the speed is fast, accelerated, and progressive, where you're getting faster throughout, and it doesn't exceed. There's a little dip there, and there we've got a little game cam. But defining the sprint: fast, progressive, accelerated, no more than 20 seconds. There's two main reasons why I assign sprints, as we're talking about today, to my athletes almost year round, regardless of the athlete, regardless of their ability, regardless of the distance they are training for their racing. First reason is that by doing very fast, very short sprints, your body is forced to recruit more muscle fiber. And this is different than making muscle fiber larger. That would be like going into the gym and lifting weights, high rep, high sets, to create that pumped feeling where, again, the muscle fibers are enlarged, rather than what we're talking about today, where the muscle fibers we're recruiting more to the party. The more muscle fibers we recruit to the party, the more efficient you're going to be as a runner. And this is crucial, especially for ultramarathoners who are running in a variety of terrain where it's up and down, it's always changing. The more muscle fibers we can use, the more efficient we're going to be. Secondly, and what I really want to dive into today, is the second reason why we're doing sprints year round is to create better leg stiffness, which is the holy grail for run form, economy, strength, health as a runner. So much is packed into having better leg stiffness for everything we want as runners, whether it's performance or health and longevity. It all gets packed into one, and the reason why we want to do it really attacks everything we want as a runner. Okay? So what do I mean by leg stiffness? Let's use two examples. Let's use one where we have two basketballs. One basketball is pumped with air to its capacity. It's really firm. You can't fit any more air into it. It's really, really hard. The other basketball has maybe half the air in it. So you can, as you push on it, you can push in on it, and you can feel that there's just not a lot of air in there. Okay? So two ends. If I'm holding both balls and I drop them, which ball is going to bounce the highest? Obviously, it's going to be the one over here that has the most air in it. This is the same example as to what it's like to have good leg stiffness. The other example, a pogo stick. I'm going to date myself. As a kid, we had pogo sticks, and they have a spring on it at the end, and your feet are on the pedals, and you're pogoing up and down, right? Okay? Is it easier to pogo that stick nice and fast, or really slow? Really slow. Nice and fast. That's like having the air in the ball. That's like having good leg stiffness. If we pogo nice and slow, we're going to fall over. Okay? And that's no different than how our legs need to work from an efficiency standpoint in having better leg stiffness. And this directly relates to having really, really good form. Is that we want to have great leg stiffness for form, everything I said, health, injury prevention, performance. So what do we really mean by that? Okay, let's use the pogo stick example. Okay, I'm back here, I'm pogoing nice and quick. Okay, you can see I'm really quick with my legs. There's not a lot of movement with my knee and my leg. Whereas if I'm pogoing slow, okay, see that absorption of force and energy? Okay, we want to minimize this when we run. Okay, having good leg stiffness helps us to resist the force to spring us forward in a good way. And it's that spring that we want to use in our calves, in our arches, in our feet to spring us forward in a good way. And we have to have high leg stiffness to really expand that spring to spring us forward, just like the pogo stick. The quicker we are, the better we're using that spring versus a slow landing. Because what else are we doing? Okay, we're talking about cadence and frequency. If we're quick, we're getting off with that spring, nice quick, hardly any knee movement. We're springing forward versus now I'm here and I have not very good leg stiffness and I'm spending more time on the ground. Okay, more ground contact time. That's not good for efficiency. We want to land and get off of it. So, how does this relate to sprints? Okay, it's the most functional type of plyometrics that you can do to accomplish leg stiffness. Now, I use a lot of variety of drills to also enhance this that are really potent. And in every video, I always keep that link to that video down at the description. So you know that that link to that video of all the drills are there to help with this. And I'll also put it at the end of the video too, if you want to get it that way. But always know that that's there. So review that. Always refer back to that. Do that in the middle of a run, just like I'm doing my sprints today. But getting back to the sprints. Now, by running fast and short, we're training our leg stiffness to land and get off. Land and get off. So we avoid a lot of movement here. We want to be here. Okay? One of the drills, I call them ankle hops. Okay? Just recruiting all our springs in our body to spring us forward. Okay? So you can do sprints anytime. Okay? They're short enough and fun, but the key is that they're short and fast. They don't have to require a lot of recovery day to day. So you can sprinkle them in throughout the week. Maybe as we kind of have been conditioned to do pickups or strides, okay? When we hear strides, I automatically think, oh, long leg length and just kind of nice and relaxed. Sprinting should always be relaxed, but again, when I think of strides, I don't have that sense of how maybe fast they should be to help us load that spring and let it spring forward. Okay, so look to incorporate sprints 10, 15, 20 seconds within a long run, within any run, maybe other than a recovery run, to help with your leg stiffness and maybe just really grasp how important leg stiffness is. And we'll talk more about this in other videos about how it again relates to more run form and how leg stiffness is crucial. And this is so much different than when you hear that word stiffness, you might think, well, it's not about flexibility or mobility. We're creating stiffness to actually improve our mobility. And all of my strength exercises, whether it's foot strength or complete leg strength exercises, have an isometric component to it. Isometric meaning we're holding the movement, okay? Just like in the drills, we land, we hold. When we're doing that isometric type of strength, we're conditioning our tendons, ligaments, and muscles to be able to have better leg stiffness. So that's why everything I do with strength has an isometric component and an eccentric component, which is the landing. It's the landing. When we land, when we run, is when the spring stretches. When we take off, it releases. And that's why eccentric loading in the form of the drills and all my strength is so important for what we're talking about today. All right, dive in, have fun with it, okay? These should be relaxed. The sprints should be relaxed and fun. I tell my athletes, if you're dreading them, if you're dreading how many you're doing, they may be just a little too fast. But get lots of rest afterwards, 2 to 3 minute recovery, so they can remain nice and fast. And we're not creating fatigue. This is not a cardiovascular workout. This is a structural neuromuscular workout to create a better spring. All right, I'm headed down the hill. Thanks for watching. All right, bonus point. I always get my head going on the way down. I really want to drive home this point. Gotta catch my breath for a minute. That I mentioned how the sprints really help with leg stiffness, okay? And that in ground contact time. Sprints will help every other type of running that you do with your leg stiffness, okay? So it's not just what you're doing during the sprints, but it's that adaptation through the training that translates to all the other more functional type of running you do for your distance. And getting back to the ground contact time and reducing that ground contact time with leg stiffness, slow, easy running has the potential to be the most destructive and dysfunctional type of running we do, because it is the time where you have the chance to not have very good leg stiffness. And that's where all the drills, all the sprints helps translate to easier endurance type of running. Okay? So I think that's a crucial point, is that easy, long running, you have the potential for more ground contact time and less leg stiffness that creates all the dysfunction. So we've been conditioned to think or hear or believe that sprints and speed work is what causes injuries. More times than not, it's the easy running that's the most dysfunctional.